So, welcome to Traveling Matt. Today, I'm going to be checking out three places. Yeah, three places. So, one is the Charterhouse, second is your Bailey, and the third is the South Executions, which is the infamous Spitalfield. That's called the Fox and Anchor. So this is the Charterhouse. And this is where Elizabeth I came to get ready for a coronation. And this door is famous for, I checked to see who it was who rebelled against Henry VIII at the time of the Reformation. And he nailed a body to that door as a sign of defiance to show not to cross him. And I'm going to leave Jess shortly to give you an update about the Charterhouse and a brief history about this building. Let me just say, the Charterhouse was also famous for starting the world famous game you see today. You know, the World Cup football? Football started here, and all the offside rule, I know for sure, was here. I think this is just here. There's an alleyway where when they're playing football, they couldn't kick the ball. Kids were going out the window, so that's when they called, the throw-ins came in. This is where it started, was here at the Charterhouse. As you can see, this is the Charterhouse. You see some inscriptions here as well. These look like shields. And this is what the Charterhouse would have looked like, or looks like. And this is Charterhouse Square. So I'm going to show you guys a bit more history. So about Charterhouse. These look like residential properties that's attached to the Charterhouse. And that's where I came through. Here's a square. It looks like they started putting down grass. Let's just have a look here. So here's just a bit of an update about the Charterhouse. Take it away, Jess.
Thanks, Traveling Matt. Good to have you back. The London Charterhouse is a historic complex of buildings in Farringdon, London, dating back to the 14th century. It occupies land to the north of Charterhouse Square. It was originally founded in 1371 on the site of a Black Death burial ground. Following the priory's dissolution in 1537, it was rebuilt from 1545 onwards to become one of the great courtyard houses of Tudor London. In 1611, the property was bought by Thomas Sutton, a businessman and the wealthiest commoner in England, who established a school for the young and an almshouse for the old. The almshouse remains in occupation today.
So here is some information about the Charterhouse if you go online. Got a period building. Jules Moley. Jules Moley, Bishop of Winchester. Got to hear a bit of history about this guy, or about the Bishops of Winchester, from 1598 to 1684. So there's a portrait of him. So, and I think this is Charles II. Sorry, yeah, Charles II. He's one of my favourite kings. and some of the designs about the child's house as well. It was refurbished in 2020. And that's what the roof looks like. This is the first intended agreement as particular prestige. Elizabeth first met the Privy Council here in 1558. And you can see just over there Barbican, just behind Barbican is Old Street. See portraits there. I'll show up a second. The Great Chamber has played host to grand royal occasions and with the backdrop for Tudor plotting and intrigue. It is the only Tudor chamber to survive in London and remains a jewel in a crown of the ancient historic site. The rooms were created in 1540 as part of the Plantagenet, I got the name right, mansion built from the ruins of that monastery, which I can't say. It was embellishment of it in around 1570 by the Duke of Norfolk, who inserted a grand fireplace at lavish and the lavish ceilings. The chambers. I want to tell you guys a bit about the bishops of Winchester in a minute and what they did. Thomas Sutton. So let me tell you something about the bishops of Winchester. The bishops of Winchester had a big, lavish palace just next to the Globe Theatre. It was outside the City of London. So the important thing about this was for the fact is that when they were in Winchester and they came down to London on state business, they also became pimps. Because obviously on that side, where the Globe Theatre was outside London, or I said the City of London, I should say, where prostitution and things like that discrepant nature took place. The interesting thing about these bishops, they allowed individuals, ladies of the night, to conform and do their thing under their protection. In essence, that's called a pimp, right? And for that discretion, they were charged. And there's also a place just near the Globe Theatre where you can see the ruins of the bishop's palace. And there's also a cemetery where it was excavated, I think in the early 2000s, and they found over 1,000 unmarked graves. I'll leave links and I'll show if I can. If I find it, I'll put it in links into the video. And unfortunately, these ladies were subject to the most horrific life. It was mental, it was bedlam. But the bishops were making money on these individuals. And that's why I wanted to point out these bishops here had links to this building behind me, and they obviously were condoning it. But when the ladies died or caught any kind of condition, they were just left thrown into this unmarked pit, burial place, which was sad. And these are people of God. Go figure. So I just popped in to see if the chart house was open, because the side door was open. And rudely enough, the guy said no. Didn't even give timings when it was open, but hey, is what it is. So I'm going to take you guys to the to Spitalfield. Then I'm going to show you St. Bartholomew Mews, which is attached to Spitalfield. And then we can go and look at the Old Bailey and give you some info about that. So guys, this is Spitalfield, and this is the site of the execution. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go around, walk you around the side, and then we're going to pass through after and show you exactly what, give you some more info about Spitalfield. Actually, let me leave that. This Farringdon Elizabeth line. Never ever used that yet, but this is a new addition to the London Underground. And just down there is the Barbican. These are the houses there. So what I'm going to do is spin you guys around, and this is the back end of Spitalfield. Just want to show you guys this place first of all. Give you some information about here, which I'm going to allow. Look at, sorry guys, look at this little alleyway. So this is another pub called the Rising Sun. Very Tudor, a bit later now. Pub. So this church, but this has strong links to Henry VIII and the murder. So it's called St. Bartholomew's the Great Church, and is haunted by a monk who was brutally murdered in here because the Reformation. It says he roams through here, and also this is a cemetery. I believe his tomb is there. Let's have a look. This is the lower level. Can't see any inscriptions, but I think this is probably more than likely will be his tomb. This is just tucked away at the back of St. Bartholomew's Hospital. So what we're going to do is some gravestones here. And this is the other side of the church. And people get mistaken. They think that this is, they said that Elizabeth I stayed here. Now, I know for sure through research that this was added later. So this church is older than this entrance. So this is Tudor. That church is a lot more older. Look at the height of this church entrance. Now, I'm on the step for the entrance. Now, I'm 5'9". So that's a small entrance. So this St. Bartholomew's. That's like this Spitalfield over here now. Site of murder, executions. One of his most famous sons of the United Kingdom to be executed here was Braveheart himself, the great Sir William Wallace. This one's for the Scottish followers. Sir William Wallace on this site was murdered or executed in 1270. And you can see people are leaving gravestones for him. And that's the entrance where I just came out from. Just walking to St. Bartholomew's Hospital. Got church here. It's under construction. These are sad memories for me. My mum passed away here in 1993. And he's just barking up there. So yeah, my mum passed away here from heart problems. She had heart and lung clot, and she died just over there actually, just in front of us. And we used to take her to the fountain over there, and we went to the morgue to see her over this side. But so this has strong memories for me. But he's 900 years old, built in 1123, and in 2023 it was 900 years old. This fountain would have been on at the moment. There's a lot of strikes in London. So my mum died in the George V wing. This is the water fountain, and it's Sunday today, so it's really quiet. But there's an original site here before Bath was there. But once again, I'll let the beautiful Jess tell you about the history of St. Bartholomew's Hospital. This is the hospital. We got remembrance to the Second World War. St. John Ambulance sign. Look, there's one. That's for the nurses. Bath. Yeah, it's flaking. As you can see, the next stop is the Old Bailey. So, walking around here, it's just like surreal because obviously I know what took place here and how tragic things were here. And as you see behind me, is a site of executions. And remember in them days, executions were like the World Cup. People used to buy fruit and also celebrate when these people were being murdered or killed. It was a festive thing for them people, but that's all they knew really. Remember, these were the days where they thought that the church was pure, and what the church said was right. The fear of God was there. They also believed in the monarchy, believed in people in power. A lot different from today. I think half the things which take place now, in them days, there were a lot of people dying. So what I'm going to do is now show you guys the Royal Courts of Justice. No, sorry, not Royal Courts of Justice, the Old Bailey, sorry. And Newgate Prison. There's the Old Bailey, with the Scales of Justice on top. We can get a bit of focus. So, before I go and start filming, I'll give you, this was a build to let Jess explain a bit more about the Old Bailey, better than I can. Go ahead, Jess.
Thanks, Travelling Matt. Well, the Old Bailey, also known as Justice Hall, the Sessions House, and the Central Criminal Court, was named after the street in which it was located, just off Newgate Street and next to Newgate Prison, in the western part of the City of London. Over the centuries, the building has been periodically remodeled and rebuilt in ways which both reflected and influenced the changing ways trials were carried out and reported. In 1737 the building was remodeled and enclosed. Although this was purportedly in order to keep out the weather, the city authorities may also have wanted to limit the influence of spectators. The ground floor of the exterior was refaced with large masonry blocks, and the windows and roofline altered to reflect prevailing architectural styles. A passageway was constructed linking the courthouse with Newgate Prison, to facilitate the transport of prisoners between the two. The interior was rearranged so that the trial jury could sit together.
I just want to show you the entrance into the Old Bailey. And I've never really noticed this about the Old Bailey, to be honest. It says, let me show you. Let me sit down for a minute. Right, close up. So, it says on here, Central Criminal Court. That's where, it's around the other side where people go into, but I'll show you that in a minute. But it's this I want to show you guys. The amazing architecture on that. And then as a pan out, you see Scales of Justice directly below. There's Justice directly above. Going into the entrance. So what I'm going to show you now is where many of the, when you see in the TV programs or the news, I should say, they're taking the prisoners. It's going to cross over because it's just over there. Just a minute so I don't get run over. So the pub I showed you earlier, that's where the jails, the cells today, there's still cells you can see for Newgate Prison. And Newgate Prison was where you could be arrested for stealing an apple, a handkerchief, pretty much anything in the old days. So let me swing you guys around. Here is the, see in the news. So out here, you see all the reporters. Beneath one of the most famous doors in British history, to do with modern history anyway. view of the bus. And you see these windows up here, and some parts of those windows going around, you could look down upon people back in their time in the 15th century, 16th century, when they were taken from Newgate Prison to the execution, which is just around the corner there. And they used to pay 10 shillings, and you could stand in the window and throw food like fruit, run fruit down at these faces of people who were being tried at the Old Bailey. And even up here, you could also get entrance and watch the murder, the torture. So, I said this is the Viaduct Tavern, and this goes back many years. So there you go. That's the Old Bailey. History in itself is the Viaduct. Went to a ghost walk in there. I did get to see part of the lower level. Very eerie. Have a look at this, guys. That's of the Whisper Street. So this area has lots of history. Lots of history. And you can see here the Watcher's house. Destroyed in 1944, rebuilt in 1982. So my good mind would be, there's a statue there. Have a look, see what it says. This is my video, but I can't remember what it says about it. But one would assume that this would have been where the police may have been watching. Let's have a look. No, I don't say much about it. No, it just says about a poet, Charles Lamb. One probably believes he was buried here. Today's Bartholomew's Hospital. So thanks for coming on my walk today. We're travelling at Matt. This is basically Holborn. Seeing Bartholomew's Hospital, the Old Bailey, Smithfield, site of executions, the Charterhouse, which I wasn't planning to have a look at, but it was truly worth it. So, guys, thanks very much, and I'll see you on my next video. Stay blessed, and remember to keep building memories together.